Bala is simpler. Yeah. So you guys can call me Bala. That's a name which I got in Siemens around 23 years back, and I'm still persisting with the same. Yeah, I don't know. In the hindsight, probably Siemens is persisting with the same. But in my current job responsibilities, I'm handling the R&D operations of one of the business units called mobility. Uh, as a person, I think I'm a simple guy. I'm fun-loving. uh, Care, genuinity, responsibility, and commitment. These are some of the values which I go by. On my personal front, I am married to a lawyer. Her name is Madhuri, but now she is full time into yoga. Yeah, and yeah, I'm the only one on whom she practices law now. So that's a different thing. But and we have a daughter called Purva. So yeah, that's about me, Vijay.
Yeah. So I don't think in order to, I have heard a lot about life coaching, and I myself is a life coach a little when starting or something like that. But I heard from people a lot like inspiration, success, help. This slide tells me about life coach, and I really get confused. So, what is that life coaching exactly? Would like to know from you, and especially for our Scrum Master friends here, how can they connect it? So maybe I would like to know from you.
Yeah, yeah. I think see, Vijay, what is happening today is I think uh, we are into a business of creating brands, and if we use heavy words, that's something which probably adds some values, and that's why it's life coaching. I think there's simple coaching and life coaching. There's no difference in that sense. Yeah, and uh, it's basically about the smaller things in life in very simplistic terms. Yeah, a life coach, from my perspective, is kind of a wellness professional who would help you to make progress in your life, yeah, in order to attain a greater fulfillment, right? I mean, that's in a nutshell, that's what about a coach or a life coach is about. Yeah, so life coach would basically help the clients in improving their relationships, careers, and this day-to-day things where somebody might feel stuck. Yeah, so a life coach basically helps you to clarify your goals. Now, you could have any goal, right? I mean, as we say in coaching, I mean, you yourself are pursuing this now. So there are different types of goals, right? I mean, there are being goals, there are growing goals, there are having goals, there are doing goals. And people nowadays, what they do is they specialize in one area of these goals, and then they call themselves as performance coach, or they call themselves as a development coach, business coach, and career coach, all those different elements of it. But in a nutshell, it's about uh, working with your coachee to clarify the goals, identify the obstacles that are holding the coachee back, then come up with strategies for overcoming these obstacles, right?
Yeah.
And in creating these strategies, a life coach targets your unique skills and gifts. Yeah, he basically focuses on your strengths and provides you the support to basically achieve a long-lasting change. That typically is what a life coach would do. Uh, and just to extend that thought further, I think coaching basically is based on a fundamental principle that every person is potential and has the resourcefulness within himself or herself. Yeah, and what I think a life coach does is his job is to unearth this resourcefulness and potential which exist in each one of us. Yeah, so he is like a sculpture or a sculptor, I would say. Yeah, and then he would use his tools to just remove the unwanted stuff and create that idol, which is an ideal idol, I would say.
Okay.
Oh,
Bala, sorry, one question. I'm not sure whether it may relate or not.
who's
So,
this?
sorry, my name is Hema Kumar.
Ah, okay.
So, one question which strikes in my mind, like, do you think a coach should be a mentor? The
Uh,
example, right? Why I'm
hmm,
asking this question is,
okay.
in my
So that's a
experience, uh, if I say something to a person, he
hmm,
says, the immediate question comes back to me says that, have you done this?
hmm,
And the next says that be and make.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Are these are interrelated or something which can comes under life
Okay.
coaching?
Sure. So
Uh,
I
so that
I would like to also add a little to it.
okay.
I was actually coming to that. So a little bit of difference between what is life coaching and what is coaching and what is not. A little bit of maybe. And then as Hema also said, especially Scrum Master community, they are supposed to
Hmm.
be coaches.
Hmm.
But many of the Scrum Masters here in this world, they feel that if I do not know IT or if I do not know software as a development domain or something like that, I
Hmm.
cannot be a coach.
Hmm.
So maybe would like to
Okay.
differentiate and
So
clarity on that. Yeah.
yes, so now that you have asked this question, Hema, just for the sake of your clarification, so and there are all these different, I don't know, I mean, if I have to call this, I would say so-called helping professions. Yeah? If I have to coin a name for them, so so-called helping professions, and there are a lot of different professions in which basically are classified in this category. So you take training, you take teaching, you take management consultants, you take psychologists, you take mentors, you take coaches. All of them, all these different people, they basically form a part of this helping professions. Yeah, and now if I basically divide them on two parameters, basically, yeah, on the x-axis it would be about the methodology. Uh, so sorry, on the y-axis it would be about the methodology, and on the x-axis basically it's about the approach. Yeah. So what would be the approach in which is adopted by these different professions, and what is the methodology which they adopt? So when we say about the approach could be about uh, focusing on solution or focusing on problem. Yeah. And then from a methodology perspective, it's about asking questions or telling solutions. Yeah. And based on this, if we divide, then basically all these helping professions would fall under all these different quadrants. Yeah. Now coaching specifically, if you look at it, it falls in the topmost quadrant on the right hand side, where the approach is always solution focused. Yeah. While the methodology is about asking questions. Now the difference between a mentor and a coach is that a mentor basically can exist in all the different quadrants, so all the four quadrants, just for your information. Yeah, so a mentor, typically the basic difference between the two, as we say it, is a mentor is a subject matter expert. Yeah, while a coach need not be a subject matter expert. A coach is a master of a process. Yeah, the coaching is ultimately, it's a process. We follow a methodology. So he or she basically is a master of that process. Yeah. In fact, we say that it's better if the coach is not a subject matter expert. Yeah. Otherwise, what happens is the coach tries to bring in his or her own biases and tries to drive the coachee towards that solution, which is not, which actually is a deterrent in coaching. Yeah. Coaching has to be about the solution which the coachee desires to have. It has to be about coach's agenda and not the coach's agenda. Right?
Oh,
And
that's really,
yeah.
yeah, carry on, please.
So the difference between the mentoring and coaching, as I said, is mentoring. You have been there, you have done that. Yeah, kind of a person, and then that person can mentor somebody. So an architect can basically mentor a developer to basically on the fine nuances, right? I mean, how do you handle NFRs or memory issues and things like that, which he might not have learned in his curriculum, but then through the experience that the architect might have experienced, he passes on that knowledge to that person. That typically is mentoring. Yeah, but a coach need not be a subject matter expert, right? So that predominantly is a difference between the two. But now when it comes to your role as a scrum master, right? I think a scrum master or an agile coach, I mean, there are two elements here, right? I mean, there's agile as well as coach, right? So you definitely, I mean, you will have to act as a mentor as well and coach as well. Yeah, at times. And that would be a thin line where you will have to make a choice at what point of time you want to act as a coach and at what point of time you have to act as a mentor. But predominantly, if you ask me, as a scrum master, you will have to play both these roles. but there is an inherent difference between these roles that you need to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a mother of confusion, I believe. When you're an expert at certain things, how to stop yourself from giving solutions.
That's also a
Right.
difference between a manager and a coach. Vijay. Yeah.
Okay.
So as a
Got
manager, you always tend towards giving solutions to people.
it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Bala. It's a
Yeah.
powerful, I mean, a powerful explanation, really. I think, Vijay, you're recording it, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Very,
yeah.
very, very powerful.
Sure.
Uh,
So,
the,
guys,
the, uh,
for today's session, what I'm doing is I'm asking some very basic questions, and then we would also open this floor for all the people to ask the question. This is just to avoid certain delays on and covering major topics first. So I'm trying to ask these questions. Okay. So hey guys, if you can start your videos, any one of you, 2, 3 people, kind of, that would be really good, as you do often. So yeah, next very interesting question. You are a very successful person in your industry, manufacturing projects. You are being at such a senior level in Siemens Advanta, and as you said, 550 people or something like that,
Hmm.
reporting. So why did you choose coaching? And what's so special about it?
Hmm. Well, that's an interesting question, Vijay, and also something close to my heart. So, I think I have first of all. Oh, let me just. I think it was on low battery. Okay. Uh, so first of all, I think I have been really fortunate to be a part of an organization like Siemens. Yeah, and throughout my stint in Siemens, I have had an opportunity of playing different role and also working with different businesses. Uh, but one thing that I realized, which has been common, and uh, throughout my experience, one thing I realized is that it's easier to solve technological problems. Yeah, many a times the actual deterrents are people problems. Yeah, uh, and when I introspect and look back uh, to whatever I have been able to achieve in my career so far, I think. One of the hallmarks has been my ability to create meaningful relationships, yeah, where I've been able to make a difference to somebody's life. I think those that is something that has been really very helpful for me, and my ability to create performing teams that has helped me in my career a lot.
Mhm.
When I ask myself, I mean, what is that one thing that gives me the utmost satisfaction? Yeah? Because there are certain times there are things that you would like to do for yourselves. Yeah, and I think whenever you are able to put somebody on a right track, you are able to make a difference to somebody's life. I think that's something that gives me a lot of satisfaction. Yeah, and of course, I mean, now I'm also in a phase of my career where I would like to also look at, of course, at one point of time I will have to hang my Siemens shoes. Yeah, and then uh, I only have one daughter, and I presume she would be married, and then we don't want to end up fighting, me and my wife. So I thought that it's important that you need to be for you to keep yourselves engaged. There has to be something. And when I was actually looking into that, the I thought, I mean, anything that I would like to do has to be related to people. Yeah,
Okay.
because that thing was very clear to me. And then when I thought, I mean, what is it then that I would really like to do? So then the answer that resonated with me was coaching, and that's why I basically chose coaching as from a professional perspective as well. And then I tried to look at it from a professional perspective. I've done my ACC and PCC level trainings in coaching, and of course, I mean, I have also done 100+ hours of coaching now. So, and I'm really liking this, and I think that also is a uh, and that is also helping me as an individual to evolve every day. Yeah,
Oh
through the
wow.
experiences of my coaches, and
Great.
that I think is also fulfilling thing from my perspective.
Wow. Sure. So I think that is a little literally unique. What you're telling is a natural progression of what you want, what you are as an individual, or what characteristics that you have, or what you like, or what you want to be. Unlike majority of the people into the industry that they want to become Scrum Master, not because of their natural progression, but it's a need of a career progression or something like that. So I think that's a little different. And thank you for being so candid with your life. that what you want to be, hanging your shoes and something like that, that really gives us a little bit of kick for our own careers. So, I mean, you already answered most of this. So, what are your strengths as a coach? I mean, if a Scrum Master wants to
Oh,
be a coach or something like that in his lifetime, a little bit of coaching that he or she does every day or
hmm,
wants to do every day. So, what are those strengths that we are looking at as a coach?
hmm. Okay. So I think first and foremost thing that there are, I think, certain attributes that a coach definitely must possess. Yeah. And when I talk about it, I think the coach has to be altruistic. The coach necessarily has to have empathy as a attribute. The coach has to be respectful. Uh, so these are certain things which I think are very important. And when you ask me, I mean, what are my strengths? When I look back, I think my strength is to be able to create a connect with somebody. Yeah, to be able to create an environment where my coachee uh, can fearlessly express whatever he or she wants to express without the fear
Yeah.
of being judged. Yeah, that's of paramount importance, because what happens is, in this process you are able to create trust. Yeah, and once that trust gets established, the whole process becomes a lot more easier. Yeah. And then once that trust is established, the coachee also responds to whatever you actually ask the coachee to do as a part of the coaching exercise. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then that what helps at the end of the day to create a sustainable change in the lives of the coachee. So if you actually ask me, I think two three things that the top three things I would say, of course, I mean, to be able to make a connection, to be able to create that environment, uh, to be able to be a very good listener. Yeah, I think
Mm-hmm.
that is also something which I really think, and I mean, a lot of people have given me that as a compliment. And of course, I mean, because listening is something, I mean, you need to listen, yeah, to understand the person. You did not listen to respond to that person.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those are the attributes that have helped me as a coach. And not only, I would say, not only as a coach, but I think also in my stint as a leader.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's really interesting. Maybe you're not formally trained or certified on any agile or Scrum aspects, but you are actually speaking what a Scrum Master should do. Irony is majority of the industry is actually hiring Scrum Masters because they have certain knowledge and they want to impart it to the people. So they should speak. Anyways, we'll come to that one also. So what is the methodology that you
Lot
use
of
for
thing,
coaching?
lot of
Yeah,
thing, Vijay, has to be common
yeah,
sense. Yeah.
yes.
Unfortunately, as we say, common sense is uncommon. Yeah.
So, can I say that agility and everything is based on certain common sense? And if you understand the underlying common sense of it, I think that will make you a
Absolutely.
great Scrum Master, I believe.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah. You have to understand the intent and purpose why you are doing something.
yes.
Yeah.
Intent and
And
purpose. That's really interesting.
yeah, and not get caught up in the process.
Oh, very, very interesting. Because I've been talking to so many Scrum Masters and they know something that one solution. And, they generally say that people don't listen to me. And then I ask them, what is the solution that you have? Many people tell me, I have Scrum as a solution. And I ask them, what else? What
So
else? And people don't.
yeah, my first
Yeah.
question also to a lot of people would be, I mean, just because it's a common complaint. I mean, I have probably 50 Scrum teams which are there currently. Yeah, and yeah, so that again is a common question. People don't listen. But then my question always is, do you listen to your people? Because what goes out comes back. Yeah, and
Interesting.
you you have to basically understand that what is in that particular role what you need to do,
Hmm.
uh, whether you are a facilitator or whether you are a controller.
Okay.
Okay,
So, in methods, you're saying that your listening
okay,
is the key, right? Yeah.
right. I mean,
And
okay,
if you have a methodology, please share certain methodology and certain experiences from your own kind of, area of expertise.
This discussion. So, that what is the methodology you use for coaching? Okay.
Yeah.
So that if you actually go to net and look at things, I mean, there are a lot of different methodologies. Grow is something which is very commonly used methodology. But what I basically use, Vijay, is something, because I have I have been trained with one of the institutes called Coaching Lighthouse, and what they promote, that's something which I use, is the methodology is called as Opal. Yeah.
Okay.
OPAL, Opal. So O basically stands for, and I think if you actually look at it, this is a very generic thing. You can apply it in your day-to-day lives. Yeah, and to decision making, problem solving, anything. I mean, it's a very common thing. You can apply it anywhere, not necessarily coaching. Yeah, and it's about, first thing is to clarify what is the objective that you want to solve.
Yeah.
Yeah, so O stands for objective. Yeah. Second thing is P, which is about possibilities. Yeah. So then you need to look at what are the possibilities that exist in order to solve this objective. Yeah. The third thing, which is A, is about actions. So now, what are the actions that you will take in order to make these possibilities real? Yeah. So it's about what are the actions that you would take. Yeah. And then the fourth thing in this whole process is about learnings. Yeah. In this whole process, there would be a lot of learnings. Yeah, as I said, I mean, as a coach, the job is to unearth the resourcefulness and potential of an individual, right? I mean, when you go through that process, there's a lot of thing which happens in this whole process. I mean, there's a lot of questions which the coach constantly keeps on asking you. Coach also shows you a lot of a mirror a lot of times, and you tend to look the world from a different perspective altogether, and then you have a lot of learnings. You realize a lot of things about your own belief systems. Yeah, there could be a lot of limiting beliefs, there could be a lot of enabling beliefs, and then all these learnings that you have, you need to integrate them back into this whole process. That's what the last L stands for. And I think that's the most important part, because whatever you do, it has to be a long-term self-sustaining thing. And in order to make it self-sustaining, it's very important that you, whatever learnings you have, you take those learnings back into this process and apply it.
Oh, great.
So, yeah, so and you can do it exactly, and you can basically use it for anything. Yeah, and just try that.
So it looks like like Agile or Scrum, iterative, incremental, objective, possibilities, action, and learning, and then maybe again iterative. Okay, that's good. Now I'll come to our friends.
Okay, so I think there was one more question there. You were talking about the experiences, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Experiences. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, as I said, the first and foremost thing, Vijay, that actually, I mean, let me be very candid and open here, is that a lot of times when I'm actually in a process of showing mirror to somebody, I also tend to see that mirror for myself. Yeah, this also helps me to grow as an individual, and that I think has been the most important part of this whole exercise. But here I would just like to probably cite a couple of experiences which I've had. So there was one person. I mean, I am also there's. Harsha, you have been through Siemens, so you know. So there's something called GLOW, which is basically for the women community, which is a specific program which Siemens runs, and I'm also empaneled on that. And then one of my coachee, she was kind of stuck in her career, yeah, and she was stuck in her career. She had some fixed views about the environment which she was in, and in fact, she was actually asked to look at opportunities outside Siemens by the seniors as well. And through the coaching process, she was able to look at things from a different perspective. Yeah, she was able to look at things, what are the things which are under her scope of influence, and how she could do things differently. Yeah. Fortunately, I mean, she also did what I asked her to do, and in fact, within the span of coaching, I mean, there was an internal job posting. She also got selected for that posting, and in fact, she got a higher opportunity as well. But that that was really an interesting process. I mean, she was, I think a lot of us go through the same thing. We get stuck in our careers, and then many a times we keep on pointing towards the environment. Yeah. Forgetting there are things that we could do on our side to create that change in the environment. And I think that was something which was very, very interesting. Second, I had one coach who basically is he is into a lot of social stuff. He runs his own NGO as well, and he was not able to go to the next level. I mean, this person is a very flamboyant person, very dynamic person. He has a lot of ideas, and where he was struggling was that he was not able to uh, what do you say, take those ideas and create something out of those ideas, and he was stuck in that process. So during our discussion, when we are actually looking at what are the possibilities, so he also realized that one of the possibilities, he needs to acquire some professional knowledge regarding that. Yeah. And that basically prompted him to look for what are the avenues which are there. And in fact, there's an institute of repute which basically teaches social entrepreneurship, and it's very difficult to get in there. You have to present your case, and then you get in there. And he applied for that. He presented his case, and he got in there, and he is very happy now. That he is able to learn something professionally, and he is able to apply it into the things that he wants to actually make it happen. And that, I think, is also good that he is now has gone, from my perspective, he has gone 2 or 3 rungs up the ladder.
Wow, great success stories.
And I think uh, Vijay, we have worked together, and probably you
Yeah,
have
yeah,
some experiences as well. So
yeah, yeah. So thanks for bringing in that point. And one point of time, see, everyone has their own blind spots in their own life. If they want to achieve something, and then you get really stuck somewhere. So when I worked out with Bala, and it was a really great problem, not a great, I would say, a general problem, but I would actually wanted to achieve something. And then I went to Bala, and then I told him that as a coach, would you like to help me? And he said, you will help yourself, but I would just take you through that journey. And then very first thing that, as a coachee, what happened to me is I felt maybe in the second event itself, uh, I was very close to my granny. And then I felt like there is somebody in Bala, or as a coach, not person, that can replace my granny. I was really, really comfortable with, and so that comfort was actually brought in. By that comfort brought in, he started asking me certain powerful questions, and which made me really, really think into depth. Sometimes, if I'm thinking one layer above or something like that, so he would ask me some more penetrating questions. And then somehow, in this case, I started sharing about what is underneath, and he was not taking lot many cues out of it, but I was taking cues out of it, and he was asking me just powerful questions that would lead me there. And one fine day, I was there. I could find out all my blind spots, and after that I was really, really comfortable, and then very confident individual, and I could solve that problem. Majority of the problems I could actually solve out of it. So primarily, I felt like in Bala I got a companion. That was the first thing. Second, with those powerful questions, I could see deep inside me. I don't know where was that actually hidden before. And I think you need somebody who would actually help you go down there. Otherwise, in our lifetime, so many problems, or so many avenues, kind of, we just get lost into it. And that is one place wherein I was absolutely focused, and thanks to Bala as a great coach, kind of, could um, open up those blind spots, and help me get through that situation. So yeah, that's one great thing. That's one experience, and that's what attracted me towards coaching a lot.
One question here. So
Yeah.
now, Bala, you like Vijay and yourself, might have had this conversation with the background of like working with Siemens together, right? So do you like help people only who work with the organization, or Siemens
Not
as an
really.
organization? Okay.
No, not really. So, uh,
Okay.
I do professional coaching as well now. So it's not, of course, I mean, I do coaching for people within Siemens, because at the end of the day, that's my responsibility to ensure that my people grow in their own respective things, whatever they do. But I also have started professional coaching, and I do have professional assignments as well. So, which is outside of Siemens.
Yeah.
Thank you
And
so
I'm
much.
an external to Siemens, so I'm
Yeah, I
one
mean,
of
in
the
fact, he
examples.
was an external. It was not in
Yeah,
the purview of Siemens in that sense.
yeah.
Okay,
But
okay, I didn't
something,
know.
everybody has blind spots. Yeah. So definitely, Bala would
Yes,
be able to help you so
definitely.
many people. Yeah, yeah, sure. So Bala, next question are to in domain of our friends. As a Scrum Master, I'm expected to coach people.
Hmm.
How does that work in an organization where there's a lot of hierarchy? It doesn't really help me. Can you can you share something which will help me as a Scrum Master? How do I do that?
Can you read that question one more time for me?
As a Scrum Master, I am expected to coach people. How does that work in an organization where there is a hierarchy?
So, Vijay, some coaching for you now that you are also pursuing this particular
So
coaching
I am
as a profession.
I'm putting in questions from people actually. I'm just putting it for the benefit of people.
So,
Yeah,
so I see that there is a belief in this particular question that you have put in.
absolutely. I
Yeah.
agree.
So
There's a belief
this
that
this
hierarchy
yeah.
affects. Yeah.
I mean, there's a clear belief that organizations where there is a hierarchy, we cannot coach people.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's what I mean, I infer from this particular question, because that's a
Yeah.
clear cut belief. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think first and foremost thing is to work on those beliefs. Yeah.
Yeah.
To put those beliefs aside. Yeah. See, whatever space you are in, you have to you have to ensure that you are the entrepreneur of that space.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are the one who are responsible for that space. And
Hmm.
then basically you have to start looking at things. You will start looking at things from a different perspective altogether, because if you go with that worldview that this is a hierarchical organization, and you cannot do coaching in the role of a scrum master in this organization, then you will never be able to do. Yeah,
Yeah.
because what we say, and this is something uh, which you might have heard a lot of times, Vijay, in Siemens specifically, that it's your beliefs that drive your behaviors, and it's your behaviors that drive your business, right? Or those behaviors basically help you to create that those results in that sense. Now, if your belief is that coaching people will never work in a hierarchical organization, your behaviors would be aligned with that. You will behave in that fashion,
Definitely.
and you will never be able to achieve the result. So the first and foremost thing here is to change that belief. Yeah, and then look at things from a different perspective, and you will find a lot of possibilities.
Sure. Definitely. I agree to that. Yeah. And looking at this space, actually, we won't be able to finish things that I had, and this session also started a little late. So, Bala, will that be good if we can have one more session sometime?
Sure,
Because
I'm
we were
okay.
planning, I was planning for some kind of simulation or demonstrate how to coach actually. That would be really helpful for our, Scrum Master friends. Uh,
Absolutely.
will that be possible to have it in the next session?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay, okay,
I,
good.
I would be more than happy to do this.
Sure. So I'm not taking any more questions here, guys. And then,
I have one
otherwise you will not get a
question,
chance to. So
Vijay.
I will open up the floor for people to ask their questions. Yes. Um, yeah, yeah.
I have
Before
one
that,
question. Okay, go ahead.
just 1 minute. Before that, Bala has also written best life coaching or coaching attributes. So you can actually read it on the website. So you'll also get a lot of attributes what a Scrum Master should also have as a coach, kind of. With that, over to you. Yeah, Q&A, please.
So, Bala, one question when we were discussing, right, about the impediments, trust, and the other factors, right? When it
Mm,
comes to your trust,
mm,
it's the biggest challenge.
mm,
It's a challenge in the sense, I mean, I read some of the articles saying that a lion can trust the lion, but a tiger can trust the tiger. But when it comes to human beings, right, it's the biggest challenge as to whom we should trust and whom we should not trust. Any idea, any
mm.
thoughts from that perspective from your end?
So is that your worldview, Hema?
Uh, can we?
Because I think that I can trust anybody.
Okay,
See,
it might be my
every
view.
individual.
Yeah,
Uh, so it depends. See, as I said, I mean, every individual has a different set of beliefs. Yeah, and it's based on the experiences that you have grown up with, right? And that basically forms you as an individual, and that is basically that leads to those formation of beliefs, right? And if your question is that whether we can trust or whether we cannot trust, I mean, that completely depends upon your experiences. And it's again, it's not about being right always. Yeah. Uh, you might trust somebody and then you might fail. That's okay. Sometimes it's also okay to fail, right? I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not, if I would be 100% perfect in all the things, yeah, of course I do believe, I do trust people. I mean, of course, that's something which I have fundamentally believed all through my life. But there have been instances where people have ditched me. But does that mean that I've stopped trusting people? I don't, because that's what my characteristic is. The person who ditched me, that was his characteristic. Yeah, then what would be the difference between him and me? But I will keep trusting because that has helped me. It's And typically what happens is you go by the negative instances only. Yeah, but probably 10 times I have gained by trusting people. It's 1 or 2 times that I might have failed trusting people. So
true.
even in terms of mathematics, what is it that then I should look at? So I would basically look at trusting people, and uh, but fundamentally you have to look at whether you, because as I said, I mean, if that's a worldview that you carry, yeah, why that worldview? And if that is helping you, that's fine. If that is not helping you, then you need to look at what you need to do in order to change that.
Got it. Yeah. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
but
You're,
your
you're,
question
you're
was
focusing
about whether
towards.
you should trust or whether you should not trust. That was your question, right?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, your explanation clears the all the doubts which I had.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks. Any more questions, guys? Team?
So
Brahma?
I had one, guys. So I had one. Yeah, this is again. So this is actually related to the earlier question of trust, because I think that is a very pertinent question.
Hmm.
Trust is basically the central part of all the conversations, because that's where the real relationship grows, right?
Absolutely.
Between a coach and a coachee. So one of the experiences, and this is again based on my experience with others, is many times we feel that we are we open up a lot more to unknown people better than when the person I know already is also a coach. Is that something that you have experienced, or any thoughts on those lines?
Yeah, I mean, very true. It's not some. I completely agree with you. Sometimes it's uh, so here also what I see is that it again basically boils down to your belief system. Yeah, and so if you, what happens is, I mean, you are more comfortable in exposing yourselves to unknowns. Yeah, so there definitely is certain belief which is playing here. Yeah. And I think typically you are asking this question more from a organizational hierarchical context, Abhigan. Is that right? Is my understanding right?
Maybe not so much to the hierarchy, but
Hmm.
people around. It could be at any level. not specific to hierarchy, but here the main factor is, known people.
Hmm. Yeah. See, uh, what happens is, again, many a times this is something which is happening a lot now. I mean, there's an identity which we have, right? Uh, and then there is a reputation which we carry, which is a perception of us. Yeah, and there's a very beautiful sentence which I read sometimes back. This was actually in uh, one of the books by Jay Shetty, and he talks about this sentence. This is, and I am not what I think I am. Yeah, I am also not what you think I am, but I am what I think you think I am. Yeah, there's a very complex statement to understand, but what it means is that sometimes, I mean, if I feel that Vijay perceives me in a particular way, yeah, this is how Vijay perceives me, and that is something that I will carry. And actually, in actual, Vijay might be perceiving me in a completely different way. Yeah, are you getting that,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Abhigyan? Yeah, I'll tell you. I'll tell you one example. I mean, my personal experience, my personal example. Okay, and in 2008, I moved from Mumbai to Pune. Yeah, and at that point of time, basically, I was in Siemens Limited in Mumbai, and there was a merger and acquisition which had happened. Yeah, and a lot of our frontline people, they left. Yeah, they left and they went elsewhere. Yeah, and at that point of time, I had two choices. Yeah, I could have stayed back uh, in the same organization, but I, because there was so much of chaos around me, uh, actually I took a decision to go away. Yeah, to leave that. And many a times, basically, how I have perceived it is that I have lacked I have lacked the courage. Yeah, that is how I have perceived it. Yeah, that I could not stay there and I could not take that. That is how I have perceived, and that is something I thought everyone else has also perceived about me. And many years later, when I was actually talking to my close friends, my close groups, they considered this as a very very good decision. They thought you were in the best of the minds to take a very good decision. Okay, but all the while I was perceiving that what these guys might be thinking about me. They might be thinking that I lack the courage of not staying back there. Yeah, and these are many times this is a hindrance. Why you don't open up to people who are very close to you. Yeah, because it's all about your perception, it's all about your reputation that you want to maintain. Uh, that's what is happening now. We are actually living with so many masks. Yeah, we tend to forget who we are really, and then we have that fear that when I'm talking to my near ones, I mean, and when I'm exposing, it's also about whether I can be vulnerable. Yeah, and if I basically try to be vulnerable, then how people will perceive me. And all these fears basically they impede me from actually opening myself uh, to my so-called closer circle. And I also need to really look at whether that's a really close circle if I
Mhm.
cannot be vulnerable in that circle. That's a question that I would also ask myself.
Yeah. Mayuresh also seems to have a question.
Hi, Bala. This is a very nice session. Thank you, Vijay and Bala. Am I audible?
Very
Yes.
much.
Okay. This is about active listening as a quality that you talked about for a coach,
Hmm.
maybe a life coach or any coaching, whoever is in coaching. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, as an active listener, what are the in order to practice it or become better at it? Uh, what are your recommendations to any person? In terms of like how to be a better active listening and active listening has got a difference in my opinion. um,
Absolutely.
active to be a good active listener, what are the parameters or what are the qualities that you feel a person should have, and in order to get better at it, what is that your recommendation, or how would you practice it? That's my question.
So I think qualities, if you really ask me a quality, the quality has to be of a listener for sure. Okay. And you really need to be respectful for the person who is in front of you. Yeah, who basically wants to express himself or herself. You need to have that respect for that person. You need to have the respect for the views and opinions that the person is expressing. And I'll tell you one very simple thing, which many times we miss. See, whenever we are uh, when you are listening to somebody, at the same point of time you might have noticed there's an inner voice which is continuously chattering inside of you, right? And next time, Mayuresh, try to just listen to this, try to observe this phenomena. Yeah, all of us, we have an inner voice within us, and at any point of time, now also when you are listening to me, you might be hearing there's a voice which is actually talking to you inside your head. Yeah, and it's about being aware to this voice that is actually talking to you inside your head. And whenever you are in that conversation, what happens is this voice basically will prompt you to basically catch one word, and then you start framing a reply to that answer, or you catch that word and you start, what would be my response to this. Instead of this, next time when it happens, you actually, if you are aware of that, you ask that voice to, okay, you have said that, please be silent, I want to listen to this person. Yeah, you will have to do that consciously, but first thing is to be aware of this voice that goes on in your head. Yeah, once you start doing that for some point of time, it will become a habit. But
Very
are you,
valid.
yeah, I don't know, I mean, many a time we are really not aware of that. I mean, that's something which I've observed. And please observe this. I'm sure most of you might have already heard about this, your inner voice which goes on within you. It's a constant chatter, right? And we can never sit quiet, because that chatter basically is nothing but the thoughts which are coming across our minds, right? And scientifically, I mean, there are more than, I mean, thousands of thoughts, 10,000, or I mean more than that, which come across our mind every single day. Yeah, and that's what the Mayuresh, that's what basically happens in meditation, when you are actually able to silence that voice. Yeah, that's what meditation is about, actually. Yeah, when you say that you have what do you say, you have stopped your thoughts, what it means is that you have actually stopped that chatter.
Okay. I think I'll try to do that. Yeah. There's something you know, I could sense it. So any other qualities that you feel that, practicing will make me a better active listener?
I think this is the single most thing. You try to do this, and we can get connected, and you let me know what are the results.
Absolutely.
Where the first thing is to be aware of this, that this happens. Yeah. See, and that's what blind spots are about, right? I mean, first be aware of what it is. Once you're aware of that, then only you can change something. If you're not aware of a particular thing, you cannot change that thing. So first be aware of that, experience that, and then try to change it.
Okay, but thanks. That's a nice explanation. I'll try to practice it. This is a powerful quality. Yeah. Thank you.